Hi, it's Sarah with the Ormond Beach Regional Library, and today on this episode of Volusia Gets Crafty, I'm going to show you how to create a granny chevron. This is the third of 3 granny themed projects that you can customize to the size you wish. Now our final video will be showing you how to join granny squares together, but the granny chevron is nice if you don't want to have to join anything but you like the whole look of a granny. You'll be able to just extend it and make it bigger without having to join anything at the end. So this is a nice extra project that you're going to get as well. So why don't you grab a hook and some yarn and let's go get started. Okay, so today we're going to be working on learning how to create a granny chevron. So this one will use the same kind of stitching, you know, with the groups of 3, just like the granny square and the granny rectangle, but we're going to do it in a ripple effect. And what we're going to do is start with a chain, and the chain should be in multiples of 18 plus 2, and it should turn out right if you do it that way. So you'll chain 18, 18, 18, 18, however long you want, and then you're going to add 2 in at the end. Now if you want to make a blanket size, I think about 164 chains, that incorporates the extra chain 2 at the end, would make a nice sized blanket. But for today, just to make our little swatch that I showed you, we're going to do multiple of the 18. So we're going to do 36, and then we're going to add 2 at the end. So we're going to have a total of 38 chains. So we're going to yarn over and pull through our loop on our hook. There's 3, 4 or 5, and keep going until you hit 38 if you want to do it along with me, the little sample, or if you want to do a bigger project, go ahead and crochet that amount and we'll meet you right back. All right, so I've got my 38 chains. Now, the reason that there's so many chains is because with the chevron, it's going to go up and down, right? So it's gonna shrink in size as you crochet. So that's why it seems like a lot of chains if you want to make a blanket. But yes, for our sample, we've got our 38. And what we're going to do is put 3 double crochets in the 5th chain from the hook. So we're going to yarn over and skip 1, 2, 3, 4. And in the 5th chain, we're going to put 3 double crochets. Okay, so there's our 3. And then next what we're going to do is skip 2 chains and put 3 double crochets in the next. So yarn over, and we're going to skip 2. So 1, 2, and into the 3rd, 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to skip 2 chains and we're going to create the peak of our chevron. So 1, 2 chains to skip. We're going to put 3 double crochets. And then to create the peak, we're going to do chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then put 3 more double crochets into that same space. Now we're going to head back down our chevron. We're going to skip 2 chains. We're going to put 3 double crochets in the next. So there's 1, 2, go into the 3rd, 3 double crochets. Okay. And then we're going to do our valley. So the valley consists of skipping 2, putting 3 double crochets, and then we're going to skip 5 chains for the valley. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And into the next one, we're going to put 3 double crochets. So see all these ones that we're skipping, either at the top or the bottom? This is what will make it look like a chevron, and why you crochet so many stitches to begin, why you chain so many stitches to begin with, because you're going to manipulate it to make the chevron. We're going to skip 2 chains, 1, 2, 3 into the next. Once you get past this first row, it is much easier. You don't have to do so much counting and hoping that you chained the right number by the time you get to the end. And then we're going to skip another 2, 1, 2, and we're back at the top. So we're going to do 3 double crochets. And to do the peak, we're going to do chain 3 and 3 more double crochets in that same space. Okay. And then we're going to skip 2, 1, 2, going into the next. Skip 2 and put another 3 double crochets. All right, then we've got 3 chains left if you've done it right. We're going to skip 2 and put 1 lone double crochet into the last one, and that's going to be the side that leads us up the edge of the blanket. So let's kind of get it laid out there. If you see my sample, see how there's like an edge with the double crochet by itself that goes up the side. So that's what those long ones on the edge are for. Okay? So then we're going to fasten off and start a new color. Okay. I'll let you weave in your tails and I'll meet you back. But you see the neat chevron we got going on? All right, so in your ends, and I'll be back in just a second. All right, so I've finished weaving in my ends. I'm creating another mini slip knot with my next color, and I'm going to go into the top of that last double crochet that I just completed from the last round. And I'm going to put my mini knot on there and pull up a loop, and I'm going to chain 4 and turn the work. All right, so it's okay if it's kind of wobbly right now. That'll work itself out as we go along. But now it's so much easier because you're not going to have to work into a chain. You're just going to be working into the spaces. And we're not going to work into this first space. We're going to work into the one between the 2 sets of the 3 double crochet. So it's like with the granny squares, you know, we're working into the space between them. So we're going to put 3 double crochets right into that space. Okay. And then here's another 2 sets of the double crochets. We're going to put 3 in there as well. Then we're at the top, right? Our peak. So we're going to put another peak. Do you remember how we did that? We put 3 double crochets. And a chain 3. And then another 3 double crochets into that same space. Okay. Now in between these next sets, we're going to put 3 double crochets. So this is much easier, right, than that first row working into that chain. That can be a pain in the butt, but this is much better. All right, and then we're getting down to the bottom where we're going to do another valley. But we've got the 2 sets here. We're going to put another 3 in there. All right, so here was our valley. Remember when we skipped those 5? Instead of skipping 5 chains, because we don't have that to do anymore, right? We're just going to skip this space entirely. We're going to skip that space right there where we would have normally gone into. Don't do it. Come into this next space and put 3 double crochets. That is going to force it to make a V and be the bottom of the chevron. Okay, see how that worked? Here's another space. We're going to put 3 double crochets in there. And here we are at our peak again. And what do we do for a peak? We do the 3 double crochets. And then we do a chain 3. And another 3 into that same space. And then we're going to work back down. So we're going to put 3 into the next space. Oopsie. Lost my loop and my string. And then we have one more space here between these 2 sets, right? And then we had that skipped chain 4 from the beginning. So here's your 3 double crochets. See if you can get into the top of that chain that's right next to it. And we're going to put a double crochet in there, because that's going to take us up the edge of our blanket and keep it nice and straight. All right, and then chain 1, and you can fasten off. You can see in the beginning, guys, that it kind of has a tendency to not quite lay flat, but as you keep adding more and more rows onto it, it will work itself out. But this is just the sample size. You know, you make it as wide as you want. Just keep changing colors. What you'll do then is add on, you'll weave in your ends and you'll add on your next color just like we did, so you can rewind the video and see how we started this gray round, because you just repeat that over and over and over again until the length you desire. All right, so that is how you do a granny chevron. This gives you a little bigger idea how it looks as you keep going. And up next, we're going to learn how to join our granny squares that we learned in our first video together, and also how to create a border. So I want to thank you for joining me, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.